Download the resources for this project, unzip the file, and open the Replace Background Image file in Photoshop. It's a PSD file. Our first step is to separate the subject, which is this lady, from the background. To get started, we have to select the lady in the image and hide the background. For this, we can use the Quick Selection tool to select just the shape of the model. Make sure that the model layer is selected. Now go to the toolbar and select the Quick Selection tool. After you have selected the Quick Selection tool, go to the Options bar for this tool and click Select Subject. And then click Select and Mask to enter the Select and Mask workspace. Now we have to remove any rough spots in the image. In the Properties panel of the Select and Mask workspace, choose Output to Selection. Then click OK. Remember, when leaving Select and Mask workspace, the original background comes back. You will fix this in the next step. Now we have to delete the original background. With the model layer selected, click on the Add Layer Mask icon in the bottom of the Layers panel. Since we output the model as a selection from the Select and Mask workspace, Photoshop masked or hide anything that was not selected. So the background disappeared and the selected model remained. Even though we have successfully changed the background of the model, we have to make it look more natural by creating a consistent look. We want to match the lighting of the model with that of the background. To do this, we have to duplicate the new background layer, which is the backdrop in this case. Then move it above the model layer and apply a blur filter. To do this, right-click the backdrop layer and select Duplicate Layer. Save it as it is. Now click and drag the backdrop layer copy above the model layer until you see the blue line. Then release your mouse. Go to the menu bar and choose Filter. Scroll down to Blur and select Average. Now we have to create a clipping mask between the copy layer and the model layer. Do that by right-clicking the copy layer. Scroll down and select Create Clipping Mask. Now let's complete the addition of the new background. With the copy layer selected, set the blend mode to soft light and reduce the opacity to 50%. Now let's apply a dark blue solid color adjustment layer to the green layer to give each of the layers below it a finishing color cast. To do that, go to the Layers panel at the bottom of the Layers panel, click the Adjustment Layer icon, and then click Solid Color. Now select blue, make it darker, then click OK. Again, change the blend mode to soft light and reduce the adjustment layer's opacity setting to 50%. Congratulations, you have successfully replaced the original background of the model. See you in the next video. Download the resources for this project, unzip the file, and open this image file in Photoshop. Our first step is to select the object that we want to remove. You can use any selection tool that you are comfortable with, but I'm going to use the lasso tool to select the vehicle. Make sure to include the space just outside the object. Then we have to fill the selection of the vehicle with other parts of the image. To do that, go to the menu bar and click Edit. Then scroll down and select Content Aware Fill and click it. The green overlay shows the areas of the picture that Photoshop samples from. The preview on the right shows that Photoshop sampled from parts of the road and trees when it filled in the selected area. We will clean this up in the next step. Now, we will use the sampling brush to remove the road from the sampling area. After you choose the sampling brush, click the Subtract from Overlay icon and use the bracket keys on your keyboard to adjust the brush size. Now, as you can see, Photoshop is using parts of the elephant's body to fill in the space where the vehicle used to be. Start brushing on the green overlay over the elephant so it is not used to fill in the space where the vehicle used to be. Now is using parts of the forest to fill in that space, and that just doesn't look natural. So let's brush over the forest too. That looks much better. But Photoshop is using too much of the road to fill in that space. So let's brush over some parts of the road to remove it. The default content-aware fill settings worked well for me, but you can adjust those settings if needed. When you are happy with the results, set Output to New Layer and click OK. Photoshop generates a non-destructive edit by outputting the selection to a new layer. This way, the original image is still on a separate layer if you need it. To deselect the lasso tool selection, hold down Command plus D on a Mac or Control plus D on Windows. Use the spot healing brush to clean up any other imperfections. Make sure to choose the original layer in the Layers panel before selecting the brush, and then brush over the areas you want to clean up. Congratulations! You have successfully removed a large object from a photo. See you in the next video. Remember to save your file. Let's get started with our very first project of the course. This should be a short and easy one. Download the resources for this project. Unzip the file and open the distracting background image file in Photoshop. As you can see, people in the background of this photo are very visible. It's easy to lose focus of the couple and start to focus on the people in the background instead. Now, this is not ideal, so let's fix that problem. In this project, like the title says, we will be blurring the background so that the couple in the photo can be the single point of focus. To do that, we will first select the couple, then inverse so that the background is selected instead. You can use whatever tool you are most comfortable with, but I will be using the Quick Selection tool. Go to the Tools bar and select the Quick Selection tool. You can size your selection brush accordingly by either going to the Options bar and increasing or decreasing the size, or using the keyboard shortcut, which is the left bracket key, to decrease the brush size, and the right bracket key to increase the brush size. Then go into the image and start selecting the couple. Try clicking and dragging several times during your selection instead of trying to select the entire subject in one click. That way, if you decide to undo using Command plus Z or Control plus Z, you won't lose your entire selection. Remember that you can always use the Subtract from Selection option in the Options bar to get rid of unwanted area in the selection. After selecting the couple, and if you are satisfied with your selection, go to the menu bar and click the Select menu. Then scroll down and select Inverse. And what this does is that it selects everything else except the subject, basically the complete opposite of what we selected. Now this is the most important part. Go to the menu bar and click the Filter menu to select it. We will talk more about filter in later sections of the course, but for now, just select the Filter menu. Then scroll down to Blur and hover over it. In the menu that pops out, go to the Gaussian Blur and click to select it. Now for the final part of this project, adjust the radius as you see fit. I'm just going to drag the radius slider to 3.0 because I think that's enough for this photo. When you are satisfied, click OK to apply the filter. Now you can deselect by going to the Select menu and clicking Deselect, or using the keyboard shortcut Command plus D on a Mac or Control plus D on Windows. And we are done. Remember to save your image. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hello, and let's get started with one of my favorite projects of the course. In this project, you will learn how to turn a photo into a caricature using Photoshop. At the end of this project, you will have a PSD file that will allow you to convert any image to a caricature within less than a minute. Now, download the resources for this project, unzip the file, and open this image into Photoshop. The image we are using, as you can see, is an image of a person looking directly into the camera. Now, this is very important because it makes it easier for Photoshop to detect the facial features like the forehead, the eyes, the nose, mouth, and more. Before we get started, first we have to check the size of the image to make sure that it's the right dimensions. For best result, the image size should be a value between 2000 to 4000 pixels in width or height. Now go to the menu bar, scroll down, and click Image Size to select it. Then make sure that the link icon is on. This is how it looks when it's on, and this is how it looks when it's off. We want it turned on so that the width and the height changes together to prevent distorting the image. Then click in the width or height field to change the image size. 3000 by 2000 pixels will work great for this image. Click OK when you are done. Now you can hold down Control on Windows or Command on Mac and press 0 to zoom in full screen. Now, select the background layer, then use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus J on Windows or Command plus J on Mac to duplicate the background layer. You can also go to the Layer menu. In the menu bar, select Layer, scroll down, hover over New, and then scroll down and click Layer via Copy. I will be using the keyboard shortcut moving forward. Now, select Layer 1 in the Layers panel. Then, go to the toolbar and select the Quick Selection tool to make a selection around the head. We will select the head, then isolate it by copying it on a new layer so that we can make it bigger. Because the image is on a single color background, our selection doesn't have to be precise. So, yeah, you can press Ctrl or Command plus Z to go back if you need to. You can go up to the options bar for the quick selection tool to switch between the add to selection or subtract from selection options. Or you can hold down the Alt key on Windows or the Option key on Mac to switch between the plus and minus options for the quick selection tool. After making your selection and with layer 1 selected, press Ctrl plus J on Windows or Command plus J on Mac to take what we have selected to a new layer. As you can see, this is the final result of our selection. Now, with the head layer selected, use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus T on Windows or Command plus T on Mac to apply free transform and start to resize the head. Or go to the menu bar and select Edit. Then scroll down to Free Transform and select it to apply it. Now, hover your cursor over one of the corners of this box. Hold down the Alt key on Windows or Option key on Mac. Then, click and drag to increase the size of the head. And you can also click in the middle of it to reposition it to increase the length of the neck. Alright. When you are satisfied with the size of the head, release the Option key or Alt key. Then right-click in the box and scroll down and choose Warp. Then adjust the neck from both sides. Press Enter on your keyboard when you are done. With the head layer selected, go to the toolbar and select the eraser tool. Now, check the options bar for the eraser tool and make sure that both the opacity and flow are 100%. Now move into the image, hold down Ctrl or Command and press the plus key to zoom in as we learned in a previous section. Then hold down the space bar to move through the image. Now make sure you are using a soft brush with 0% hardness. Alright, now move into the image and start softening and smoothing the neck edges like this. Alright, I like how that's looking so far. Alright, that looks good. As you can see, that looks good. Now, hold down the Shift key and click both Layer 1 and Layer 2 to select them. Then release the Shift key and right-click Layer 1 or 2. Now in this menu that pops up, choose Merge Layers. Then right-click again. Scroll down and choose Convert to Smart Object. Then duplicate the layer like we did earlier by using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus J on Windows or Command plus J on Mac. Now, let's rename the bottom layer Before and the top layer After. Alright, now it's time to apply the caricature effect. Select the layer named After, which is the top layer. Then, go to the menu bar and select the Filter menu. Then scroll down and click Liquify to open the Liquify filter. Now, in the Liquify filter, open the Face Aware Liquify option. As you can see, Photoshop is able to find a single face. If you have multiple faces in your image, you will also find them here under this menu. Using the liquify filter, we can adjust the sizes of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the face shape. Now, we can do that by moving the sliders below each face feature option. Now, let's start with the eyes. Let's increase the eye size first. As you can see, you have a slider for each eye. The left slider is for the left eye, and the right slider is for the right eye. You can click the link icon to adjust both sliders together. I will set the eye size to 100. You can also control the eye's height, width, and tilt, or even the distance between them. Remember that you can always use your own values. You don't have to use the same value as me. I will set the eye's height or the eye height to 70. Or click this link to adjust both. Alright, and I will set the width to 49. And the tilt, I will increase that. I will set that to 60. Alright. You can play with these sliders until you get a good result. Now, let's adjust the nose. You can control the height and the width of the nose. I will set the height to 100 and the width also to 100. Now let's move to the mouth. Let's increase the size of the upper and lower lips. I will set the size of the upper lip also to 100 and lower lip I will also set the size to negative 100. The width and height of the mouth can also be adjusted. I will set the width to about 42 and the height to minus 44. Now, let's move to the most important part, which is the face shape. I will decrease the forehead to minus 83. That's good. And I will increase the chin height to about 10. I think 10 looks good. I will also decrease the jawline to minus 100 to have a thinner face from the bottom. Finally, I will decrease the face width to minus 70. If you are satisfied with your adjustment, then click OK. Now, let's see the final results. Click the eye icon on the left of the after layer to see the before and after. You can apply the liquify filter again to have a better control over your image face features. For example, if you want to increase the eye size over 100, you cannot do it with a single liquify filter. You have to apply another liquify filter. I'll increase it by 52 is good. And then I'll click OK. Alright, looks good. Now, let's make the final result more cartoony. You can do this by applying some filters to make the skin more softer and smoother. Now, select the top or after layer. Then, select the filter menu. Scroll down to stylize. Then, in this menu, click diffuse to open the diffuse filter dialog box. Alright, in the diffuse filter dialog box, change the mode to anisotropic. Then click OK. Let's apply the diffuse filter again. Anisotropic and click OK. Diffuse filter always remove your image sharpness and makes it softer. Now, with your layer selected, go to the filter menu, scroll down to blur, and in this menu that pops up, scroll down and select surface blur. Make the radius 16. 16 is good, and the threshold should be 7. Click OK. Now, let's apply the reduce noise filter to minimize the remaining details in our final image. Go to the filter menu, scroll down to noise, then select reduce noise. Keep both strength and preserve details at 10% and keep the other values at 0. Then click OK. Now, let's see the before and after. That looks a bit blurry. It needs to be sharpened again. Now select the top or after layer. Then let's apply the Smart Sharpen filter. Go to the filter menu, scroll down to Sharpen. Then select the Smart Sharpen. In the Smart Sharpen dialog box, change amount to 175%. Set the radius to 3 pixels and the reduce noise to 0. Also, change remove to lens blur. Then click OK. Again, with the after layer selected, let's apply the high pass filter for a more sharper result. Go to the filter menu, scroll down to Other, then select High Pass. Change the radius to 3 pixels. Then click OK. Now, double-click the icon to the right of the high pass filter in the Layers panel to update the blending mode. Now, let's change the blending mode to Overlay. Then click OK. High pass filter and overlay together make your image sharper. Now, let's add levels adjustment layer. Go to the adjustment layer icon and select levels. In the properties panel for the levels adjustment, change black to 10, gray should stay at 1, and white to 250. You can also add vibrance adjustment layer to adjust the saturation. Change vibrance to 10 and saturation to 3. You can also add color balance adjustment layer to adjust the tone. Adjust the midtones. Cyan red should be to 5, increase it to 5. Magenta green to -2. And yellow blue to 2. Now adjust the shadows. -6, 4, and 6. And also adjust the highlights. -5, 3, and 2. Now we are done. Close the properties panel and let's see the final result. Now, this is the cool part. You can apply this effect to any image you have. To do this, you need to open the Smart Object to update your image. Select the before layer. Just double-click your Smart Object thumbnail to open it. Now we are inside the Smart Object. You can import your image right here. Then hide the bottom layer. To do that, go for any image and click, select your image and drag. Now hold down Alt key or Options key and click to adjust your image. When you are done, press the Enter key. Now click the eye icon of your bottom layer to hide it. Then press Ctrl plus S on Windows or Command plus S on Mac to save it. It's updating, it takes some time, so just be a bit patient. Now get back to your main document window, and as you can see, the effect was applied to another image. Alright, thanks for watching and following along. See you in the next video. Hi, and welcome to another exciting project of the course. In this project, you will learn how to convert photos into a cartoon using Photoshop. Download the resources for this project, unzip the file, and open this image into Photoshop. Before we get started, first, we have to check the size of the image to make sure that it's the right dimensions. For best result, the image size should be a value between 2000 to 4000 pixels in width or height. Go to the image menu and select image size to check your image size. Make sure that one of the width or height is 2000 pixels. You should change your image size because filters depends on the image resolution. Now, when you are done, click OK. Now, with your background layer selected, duplicate it once using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+J on Windows or Command+J on Mac. Go to the toolbar and select the Quick Selection tool. Then start selecting your object. You can press the left and right bracket key to increase and decrease the size of the selection tool. And then start selecting your object. Refine your selection as much as possible. And select the Subtract from Selection option in the options bar to remove parts of the selection that we don't want to include. Then select the Add to Selection option to continue selecting the object. You can switch between the Add to Selection and Subtract from Selection options by holding down the Alt key on Windows or the Option key on Mac, as you can see. I will speed up this process. Hold down the space bar, click and drag to move around in the image. Alright, I think this looks good. Now, with your layer selected, click Add Layer Mask icon to create a layer mask from your selection. Now, right-click the layer mask. Scroll down and choose Select and Mask or Refine Mask for some versions of Photoshop. Now, you can change your view if you want. I will choose on black. You can increase smooth to about 36 and contrast to 34%. Also, you can increase the radius to 2 pixels. When you are done, click OK. Now, we have enhanced our selection. Select the background layer and create a solid color layer by clicking the adjustment layer icon at the bottom of the layers panel and select solid color. Change color to white. Then click OK. Now, grab the pen tool from the toolbar and from the options bar for the pen tool, change tool mode to shape. Change fill color to any color. I will choose this blue color 0071DC. Click OK. Also, make sure to remove stroke. Now, start drawing a wavy shape using the pen tool. To do that, click, drag your mouse and click for the second time. And then move your mouse in the middle and try to create a wavy line. Just click and drag this arrow until you have this curve, this wave. Alright, then move your cursor, release your mouse and click, and it connects. Again, same thing, click and drag to create another wave. Same thing, continue, click, drag to create another wave. Move your cursor, move your pen to this far, click, then release your mouse, then move your pen in the middle, click and drag to create another curve. Alright, it's looking good so far. Alright, that looks good so far. Now, select all 3 layers. Then right click, scroll down and choose Convert to Smart Object. Now, select layer 1, then duplicate it 2 times using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+J on Windows or Command+J on Mac. Make only layer 1 visible by clicking the eye icon for both layers above layer 1. Select layer 1 and go to the filter menu and choose filter gallery. Under artistic, choose poster edge. Now change edge thickness to 0. Change edge intensity also to 0 and keep posterization at 2. When you are done, click OK. Alright, since we are working with smart objects, the filter will be applied as smart filters. With the seam layer selected, go to the filter menu again, scroll down to sharpen and choose on sharp mask. Now, this will add some sharpening to our image. Set amount value to 90%. Radius to 5 pixels. And threshold to 10. Alright, then click OK when you are done. Now, go back to the filter menu and choose oil paint filter. In some Photoshop versions, you can find the oil paint filter under the stylize. There you go. Now, make stylization 4, cleanliness 3, scale 0.1, and keep all other values at 0. Then click OK when you are done. Again, with layer 1 selected, apply the on-sharp mask filter by going back to the filter menu, scroll down to sharpen, then click on sharp mask. But this time, decrease amount to 60%, threshold to 5, and click OK. Now, double click the layer's text to rename it. I will name it Effect. Now select the second layer, layer 1 copy, and click the eye icon to make it visible. Now, with your layer selected, go to the filter menu, then choose the filter gallery. Under artistic, again choose poster edges. Now set thickness to 0, edge intensity to 3, and posterization to 6. Then click OK. Again, with the seam layer selected, Apply the oil paint filter from the filter menu. Keep the values the same and click OK. Now, let's change blend mode to overlay and opacity to 25%. As you can see, this adds some extra outlines. Change the layer's name to outlines. And then select the top layer, make it visible, and change the layer's name to high pass. Now let's apply the high pass filter by going to the filter menu, scroll down to other, and choose high pass. Change radius to 2. Then click OK. Now change the blend mode to overlay. As you can see, this added some extra details to our image. Now, let's add some adjustment layers. Click the adjustment layer icon at the bottom of the layers panel and select levels to add some levels adjustment. Now, adjust the levels sliders depending on your image. I will keep black at 0 and gray 0.90 and white I will set it to 230. That looks great. Now add a vibrance layer. Adjust vibrance and saturation as you want. I will set vibrance to 10 and saturation to 5. Also, add a color lookup layer. From this drop-down menu, choose 3scribe.look. Then change opacity to 50%. Now, let's select all layers except the background layer. Then right-click any layer and choose Group from Layers to create a group. Then name this group Effect. Click OK. Close the Properties panel. Now, let's see the before and after. That looks great. Thanks for watching and following along. See you in the next video.